Well guys, here we are. Finally, after a long 3-year wait, we finally get the sequel to Avengers Age of Ultron. I saw it before the US did, and I just got back from the theater, and I got this awesome Age of Ultron collectible cup right here, and it's got all of the main Avenger characters and their names, and it's got logo there and the Avengers logo there, and yes, I kept the straw. I decided to keep the straw because I felt it was like part of it, you know, and I'm glad to keep this. This is the first collectible cup I've actually ever gotten, but I digress. So guys, Avengers Age of Ultron, here's my review of it, and I'm going to be completely honest in this review, okay? No exaggerating, not going to agree with everyone else just because, but how was this sequel? It was honestly pretty disappointing. And don't get me wrong, just because I said it's disappointing, that does not mean I hate the film. People confuse disappointing and dislike a lot, because I really, really enjoyed this film. However, there were flaws. There were very obvious flaws. So I will give my overall thoughts. First, I will start off with the negatives about this movie, and unfortunately there is quite a bit of negative stuff with this movie. Honestly, I thought Ultron was a wasted villain. He wasn't anywhere near as menacing or as big of a threat as he appears in the trailers. The comic book counterpart of his character is 1,000 times better than his movie counterpart. I'll just get that out of the way. Another flaw that I had was that I thought the movie ended way too abruptly, because it was like they just wanted to get the film, well, the ending, over and done with. And that was really annoying to me, and I really didn't like that. But what can you do? And so that's the other flaw. But the biggest number one flaw I have with this movie is that it's way too rushed. Jesus, they rushed the hell out of this movie. It was like they were too excited to make it, and they are just like they were like writing when they wrote the scripts. It was like they went too hard on it, and they like went too fast on it. But that was still that was still a major problem. But that is by far the biggest problem in my opinion, and anyone who sees this movie, I think, will agree with me. But now that we got the flaws out of the way, which were pretty big flaws in my eyes, other than those flaws, this movie was friggin' mind-blowing, guys. Now, and that's why I'm now going to talk about the positives with this movie. Now, positives. Action. Spectacular. Perfect. The action was perfect in this movie. Starts off with action, ends with action. Sort of. But yeah, it's pretty much how you saw in the trailers, except more of it. So I thought that the action was perfect. Another thing is the character development for two characters specifically. First off is Hawkeye. We got to learn so much more about his character and his backstory in this movie. I mean, in the first Avengers movie, we practically knew nothing about him. We knew that he was awesome at archery. That's pretty much all we knew. But he is actually a very nice backstory. Way better than I thought. And I really enjoyed his character way more in the sequel than in the first film. The other character that we learn a lot about is Black Widow. We get to see how she became the way she is, like how she become like an assassin of some sort or like a spy. Yeah, we got to learn that backstory, and we do know much about her than we ever did in this one, and that was another very well developed character in this movie. Another big plus, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. These two were in this movie way more than I thought they would. When I saw the trailers, I thought they'd only be in the movie for like 20 minutes, but nope, they're in the movie for throughout the whole thing. Yep. And funny thing, they start out as Avengers villains. Like they start working for Ultron at first, but then they decide that they want to team up with the Avengers, and that was awesome in my opinion. The greatest part about this movie, however, was without a doubt the action. The action was amazing as always, and everything that you'd want it to be. That made up for some of the bad things that I listed out about this film, and the action was amazing, just like I said. Just as good as the one in the first film. Hell, maybe in the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. Action. Spectacular. Best part about the movie, in my opinion. And yes, that fight between Hulkbuster, Iron Man, and the Hulk was epic. So those were all the positive stuff that I talked about, and I already finished talking about the negative stuff. So overall, I enjoyed this movie a lot. It was pretty damn good, but I did find it disappointing, really disappointing, because of the flaws I mentioned, which I've already mentioned like 1,000 times, but still, especially with the rushing throughout the movie. And I believe that the first Avengers movie remains as Marvel's best film. And yeah, you're gonna ask me which is better, Age of Ultron or the Avengers? Avengers, easily. The first Avengers is easily a better film. It really is. I mean, just this movie just didn't have the magic that the first one had. But I still really enjoyed the movie. It had positives about it, but it did have negatives about it. So that was my review of the Avengers Age of Ultron. So I'm going to rate this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Great stuff. I know the way that I talked about the flaws in this movie doesn't sound like I really like this movie that much, but I really do enjoy this film a lot, guys. It was so awesome. But like I said, I was just expecting like something out of this world, But yeah, even with those flaws, I still enjoyed this movie quite a lot. I mean, and inevitably, it's going to make a ton of money. It will. And I'm glad that it will, because I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well as others do. So, yep, that's my review of Avengers Age of Ultron. If you've already seen the movie, tell me what you think. Or please just comment what you think about my review. Oh, and there is a mid-credit scene. I did not stay after the credits because I heard that they wasn't an end credit scene, but there is a scene in the middle of the credits. Trust me. So that was my review of Avengers 2, and I already said the stuff. So, peace.